Good evening, Honorable Chief Guest, Professor Rajaram Nityananda, Head of the Department of Physics, Professor K. Setupati, faculty colleagues, staff members, graduates, their parents and students. A very warm welcome to this Department Degree Distribution Program 2020. Now I request Professor K. Setupati to please address the gathering. Thank you.
Thank you. Respected Chief Guest, Professor Rajaram Nityananda, my dear colleagues, staff, students and graduating class of 2020, a very good evening to all. On behalf of the department, I would like to thank the Chief Guest for accepting our invitation to participate in the Department Degree Distribution Program and address the graduating class. The Department of Physics was established 6 decades ago and is a place where faculty, graduate and undergraduate students thrive on collaborating together in vibrant academic atmosphere. The department encourages top class innovation in both in research activities as well as pedagogy. The department currently has 52 faculty members, 200 graduate and 250 undergraduate students. Our researchers are engaged in a wide variety of areas spanning the whole spectrum of highly application oriented research to purely theoretical foundations. The department faculty engage in research collaboration with leading institutions and industries in India and abroad and are also involved in many national and international interdisciplinary projects. The department offers several academic programs with the goal of providing an education that prepares the students with scientific outlook and enables them to solve challenging problems not only in physics but also other areas of science, indeed society in general. Programs like BTech in Engineering Physics, MTech in Functional Materials and Nanotechnology and interdisciplinary dual degree MTech in Advanced Materials and Nanotechnology and Quantum Science and Technology aim to impart knowledge at the nexus of technology and physics. Our 2-year MSc program and BSMS dual degree program aims to support students who are excited about science and are ready to take up challenging research. The instructional labs are continuously upgraded to the highest standards, having experiments at different grades of difficulties ranging from basis to advanced research level. The course curricula are modernized periodically and a complete review of the programs are undertaken on an average once in 5 years. In a nutshell, the department has state-of-the-art research facilities for all the research programs being undertaken to excel in contemporary research and training the students of topics which have a good balance between fundamentals and applied component with immediate societal impacts. Today, on this special occasion, it is my privilege to review the events and the activities of the past year that has rolled by and to share with you the achievements of the department. Degrees to be awarded this academic year, we will be awarding 26 BTechs, 6 BS plus MS, 2 BTech plus MTech, 40 MSc, 5 MTech and 24 PhD degrees including 2 of them under IITM NUS Singapore joint degree program. New faculty appointments and retirements. In the academic year 2019-20, 5 of our own colleagues have moved up in academic ladder as professors. We bade farewell to our 3 faculty and 4 staff members who superannuated after a lifetime dedicated service to the department. Professor Ramaprabhu had joined as Emeritus Professor after his superannuation. Publications. During the academic year 2019-20, our faculty, research scholars and postdoctoral fellows have published an impressive number of 436 papers in reputed international journals. Apart from these, 36 publications have appeared in the proceedings of international and national conference book chapters, etc. Awards and honors. In recognition of their academic achievements, our faculty, staff and students have been bestowed several academic distinctions, honors and awards, fellowship of academies and professional societies and membership of editorial boards of journals. Notable among them awardees are Professor C. Vijayan was awarded IOP Publishing Top Cited Paper Award India for his paper Large Band Gap Narrowing in Rutile TiO2 aimed towards visible light applications and its correlations with vacancy type defects, history and transformation in physics. Professor M.S. Ramachandra Rao was selected as the first occupant of Professor R. Srinivasan Institute Chair in IIT Madras. Professor M. Nilima Gupte was the first occupant of Girija Vaidyanathan Institute Chair Professor in IIT Madras. Professor Arul Lakshmi Narayanan was selected as an outstanding reviewer for the Journal of Physics A Mathematical and Theoretical for 2019 in recognition of the high quality and timeliness of his reviews during the year. Professor Murugavel was elected as Fellow of Academy of Sciences Chennai for scientific achievements. Dr. Dilip K. Satpathy has achieved IOP Trusted Reviewer status in recognition of an exceptionally high level of peer review competency. Dr. Sivaramakrishnan was elected to serve as a guest editor by European Physical Journal for special topics. Dr. Ayan Mukhopadhyay received the Early Career Research Award from DST SCRB. Dr. Ashwin Joy received the Young Faculty Recognition Award of IIT Madras. Dr. Yasir Iqbal received the Simons Associateship of International Center for Theoretical Physics from Simons Foundation, New York, USA. Mr. Janathanan, Junior Technical Superintendent, received the Outstanding Service Award for Technical Employees at IIT Madras. Infrastructure Development and Lab Equipment. The Nano Functional Materials Technology Center, which was established with the support of 80% DST and 20% industry nearly 15 years ago, is a unique and a first in the country among similar universities, IITs and IISs. In this academic year, this center has received phase 2 project which is currently on with continued industry support. It is noteworthy to mention that this center is helping engage a core group of researchers from physics and other departments in using all peripheral characterization tools for basic and applied aspects. DST Solar Cell Harnessing Center. DST Solar Cell Harnessing Center, based at IIT Madras, was established a year ago. In addition to the research activities of IITM, the objective of the center is to support the research institutions in southern India to carry out solar related research. The objectives of the proposed center are to take a truly multi-pronged and multidisciplinary approach with a critical mass of R&D activities related to tapping solar energy. Quantum Science and Technology Initiative. The relatively new Quantum Science and Technology Group initiative has been successfully heralded in our department. This integrates our department as an important element of India's current thrust in quantum science and technology research. 3 projects, 1 experimental and 2 theoretical were sanctioned under the QSET program of DST. This involved developing spin and photon based quantum technologies using atom-like defects in diamond such as nitrogen vacancy and silicon vacancy centers is a central area of research. Our colleagues are also working on various aspects from material development of these quantum defects in diamond towards quantum measurement and envision quantum device development in forthcoming years. Research and consultancy project. In 2019-20, we have had an impressive 31 ministry sponsored projects for a total value of rupees 1,753 lakhs and 7 industrial research and consultancy assignments amounting rupees 137 lakhs. This year, agreements were signed with various labs which are Applied Materials, Defense Research and Development Organization, Indira Gandhi Center for Atomic Research, Center for High Energy Systems and Science, to name a few. Patents filed. Our department also engages actively in technology development, which evidenced by 6 patents which were filed in various research areas during the academic year 2019-20. So, Brahmagupta Colloquium, both to enhance the awareness of students about the current trends in physics and to disseminate science on a broader platform, the department conducts Brahmaputra Colloquium at regular intervals during the semester, and 7 distinguished scientists from India and 5 from abroad had visited to give the colloquium during the academic year 2019-20. Conference, seminar and workshop. Our faculty are actively with outreach program beyond the institute to engage the academic community at large. This includes regular interaction with teachers and students of high schools and undergraduate colleges in the region, and a vibrant summer student internship program every year in addition to writing articles. During academic year 2019-20, we had more than 67 distinguished visitors to our department from all over the world and delivered lectures, seminars on various topics. A short-term course was conducted in the department, a practical mini course on applied holography. The lectures were delivered by Dr. Matteo Baggioli from IFT Madrid, Spain during September 2019. An AICT sponsored short-term course on 2-dimensional material physics and applications, jointly organized by Department of Physics and Center for Continuing Education, IIT Madras during 21st to 26th September 2019. our colleagues in association with the Department of Electronics and Communication and Mechanical Engineering, Alva Institute of Engineering and Technology, Mangalore, Karnataka, organized an international conference on laser deposition during 27-29 November 2019. The 5th Physics In-House Symposium with 25 talks and 30 poster presentation was held during 8 to 9 November 2019. Further, a national symposium on light matter interaction was conducted during 26 to 28 December 2019. And the Chennai Symposium on Gravitation and Cosmology was organized by the Gravitation and Cosmology Group in January 2020. Indo-German Symposium on Quantum Science and Technology was organized in February this year. Quality and Process Improvement Initiative. Under this initiative, a special safety committee was formed to enhance the lab safety and upgrade the related infrastructure. Prizes, awards won by the students and scholars. Ms. Sai Smriti Samantre received the Bhagyalakshmi and Krishna Iyengar Award for the best project in the field of solar alternate energy applications, energy efficiency, pollution abatement, etc. Ms. Ajay Priya received GE Eco-Imagination Excellence Award for the best PhD thesis in the area of environmentally friendly green technologies, ecology and environment protection. Ms. Mayarani and Ms. Ajay Priya received Institute Research Award. Mr. Chari Rajas Premanand received Hema Balasubramanian Excellence Award with the best academic record to the BTech student in engineering physics. Professor J. Sobhanadri Prize to the dual degree BS and MS student with the best academic record was awarded to Mr. Saran Vijayan. Mr. Swarnendu Banerjee received Sri Krishnamurti Sundarambal Prize for the MTech student with the best academic record in functional materials and nanotechnology program. Mr. Anant Rastogi received Professor Silukuri Ramasastri Memorial Prize with the best academic record in MSc Physics program. Many of our scholars have received best poster oral awards in international and national conferences. Mr. Tanmay Kibe and Ms. Garima Gupte received Prime Minister Research Fellowship from the Ministry of Human Resource and Development. Acknowledgements. We are one of the largest physics department in the country among similar universities. An endeavor on the scale of the department and its entire gamut of activities is only possible with the wholehearted participation and support of our entire faculty, students and staff, as well as professionals from other organizations who assist us in various capacities. The contributions of our alumni form an important component of our success. Therefore, I would like to thank all our faculty, staff who are in charge of various labs as well as chairpersons of different committees for their selfless work they have put in to keep the department agile and in making it a vibrant center for learning and progress in physical sciences. As a part of the collective, the department is grateful to the institute at large for its continued and sustained encouragement, attention and support. Finally, I also wish to take this opportunity to thank the director, deans, colleagues from other departments for their prompt and reassuring support to the department in multiple ways. With this, once again let me congratulate the graduating class and wish you success, prosperity and good luck in all your endeavors. Thank you. Now I will invite my colleague Dr. Sivaramakrishnan to introduce the chief guest.
Thank you. Professor Nityananda is an eminent physicist who has made significant impact on the development of physics and science in India in more than one ways. He is also an illustrious alumnus of our department who graduated with his masters in physics from IITM in 1969. He fondly recalls receiving this degree from the hands of Professor Vikram Sarabhai, the father of Indian space science. Professor Rajaram had an interesting journey towards his doctoral degree from Bangalore University. He researched topics in optics and crystallography at the National Aerospace Lab from 1969 and then transitioned to the Raman Research Institute in 1975, graduating with his PhD in 1977. This saw him move into theoretical aspects of astronomy such as image processing, gravitational lensing and gravitational dynamics. Professor Nityananda was instrumental in developing the theory of propagation of light in cholesteric liquid crystals, predicting the optical analog of the Borman effect. He was also involved in identifying Berry's geometric phase as a case of the Pancharatnam phase for polarized light. This work inspired many experiments which included some of those which were performed at the Raman Research Institute in Bengaluru as well. In condensed matter physics, he worked on the theory of resistivity of binary liquid mixtures, predicting the rapid rotation of neutron polarization in helical magnetic structures. In a clever application, he used the maximum entropy method to the crystallographic phase problem, which is an inverse problem, and for image reconstruction in astronomy, which are two widely varying fields, demonstrating his alacrity over a wide range of disciplines within physics. He has worked on gravitational lenses, galaxy dynamics, and structure formation as well. He was involved in the development of statistical methods for detecting and removing radio frequency interference and correcting for the effect of polarization imperfections in radio telescopes. Indeed, this is a remarkable combination of breadth and depth in his contributions to physics, reminiscent no less of stalwarts like Hamilton, Berry, and even this year's Nobel laureate Roger Penrose. It is therefore not surprising that Professor Nityananda was invited in 2000 to lead the National Center for Radio Astrophysics in Pune, which famously hosts the giant meter wave radio telescope, a remarkable edifice of Indian science. This is a center of the Tata Institute of Fundamental Research family. He was also involved in playing an initiating role at TIFR's Hyderabad Center. Sometimes in an illustrious career like this, one may have many important responsibilities that permit very little time for some of one's passions and for the display of the kindred spirit that one has towards physics and the community of physicists, and CVs and biodatas often may not reveal them. Professor Rajaram Nityananda's passion for motivating young minds into physics and the sciences is very much born in the preface of the impressive textbook Principles of Quantum Mechanics by Professor Ramamurthy Shankar. One may recall Professor Shankar is also a distinguished alumnus of our department, and in this book the author recalls with gratitude the very positive impact his friend Rajaram Nityananda had on him. In Shankar's own words, his friend introduced him to physics in general and quantum mechanics in particular. This spirit has also found an expression in his service as an editor for the journal Resonance, the Journal for Science Education in India, and in his many delightful articles in its volumes. Superannuation brings with it the opportunity to engage in these missions full time. Since 2013, Professor Nityananda is into teaching and motivating undergraduate students. He began in this stint in his career, first at Indian Institute of Science Education and Research in Pune, and for the last 6 years at the Azim Premji University in Bengaluru. On a semi-personal note, I was a witness to Professor Nityananda's inspiration, visiting the GMRT as a master's graduate. The unassuming institute's director found time to walk us personally through the tour and also join us for lunch. These subtle moments of inspiration often have a long bearing on young minds. Professor Nityananda is a fellow of the 3 science academies in India and served as an editor for their physics and astronomy journals too. Therefore, dear graduates, students and colleagues, we are immensely fortunate to have Professor Rajaram Nityananda with us today to preside over this function and hand degrees to young minds who will carry forward the legacy of our department in the spirit that our chief guest himself has done in making us proud. This is a very special convocation. An illustrious alumnus is today presenting not only the degree but handing over and kindling a spark in each of the new alumna and alumnus of our department. It is with immense pleasure and gratitude that I now request the chief guest to address the graduates and all of us here today.
Thanks, Professor Sethupathi and the physics community of IIT Madras. You've welcomed me back to the department where I spent 2 memorable and formative years, and I hope I can make good use of this opportunity you've given me to talk to this group of students who are in exactly the same position as I was 51 years ago. In the intervening years, I have visited the department a few times, kept in touch with a few members, but I have to confess I got a full feel for how the department has grown and changed only after listening to the report that we all just heard. It's clear to me that one thing has definitely not changed. All those who come here to study physics get an intensive and extensive immersion just as my batch did. For us, it was not just in the classroom and the laboratory and the library, but also in animated discussions in the hostels and canteens, often under the pressure of some forthcoming examination. You may find it difficult to imagine how we got a master's degree in physics without the internet, without computers, without any PowerPoint or word processing. All I can tell you is that Newton's laws, Maxwell's equations, and Schrodinger's equation have not changed since that time. The faculty kept us all very, very busy, exposed us to a wide range of topics in physics, and I'm sure that is exactly what they do today. I'll start with a few reminiscences, which may make for an amusing contrast with what you're used to. In the late 1960s, there was still a significant connection with Germany. So our class had the privilege of learning about p-n junctions from Professor Werner Koch. And we learned later he was a direct student of Wolfgang Schottky, who of course pioneered the entire subject of junctions. Germans are well known for their thoroughness, and Professor Koch spent 1 week each on the p side, each depletion layer, and on the n side. And then he matched them all. It was a completely unforgettable experience. And after this, of course, the transistor was just child's play. So coming to the non-curricular side, you have to imagine a hostel in which the main entertainment in the common room was a radio and a few newspapers and magazines scattered around. A monthly mess bill was around 80 rupees. And after some strenuous sports, you could have a Coca-Cola for 33 paise, or if you're not feeling that rich, you could have a Fanta for 25 paise. And every Saturday meant watching a film in the open air theater. But I have to add, a good number of people felt the need for more unwinding and stress relief after a hard week. So after seeing the OAT film, this group would move on to see more films in a tent cinema and return early in the morning. And all this happened in Velachery, which was not an upmarket suburb, but a tiny village. I've myself tried this a few times. Coming to the geography and the surroundings, one could look south from Krishna Hostel at night and see a clear, dark sky. I used to entertain my friends by telling time, looking at the angle which the Southern Cross made with the vertical. And by day, one could just walk out across those fields for many kilometers without seeing anyone. I even have once swum in a disused quarry filled with water. Of course, this same area is the booming IT hub of Chennai. And you would be very lucky in among all those lights to see any star at all. All of you will be heading in different directions. So I think it's worth emphasizing the basic unity of physics, the web of connections between different subfields. I did my PhD with Professor S. Ramseshan, who was in fact the head of this department before he moved to the National Aerospace Laboratory in 1966 to set up the Material Science Division. He was able to create an exciting atmosphere and attract a group of PhD students. I was one of them. And he was very fond of quoting the physicist James Franck of the Frank and Hertz experiment, who used to say that physics is like a piece of cheese. And in Europe, cheese is full of holes, so one can go from any part to any other part along these holes. This was his own approach to physics. And I would like to illustrate this theme with an example from my own area, namely astronomy. Most of you must have seen a picture of a bright ring, which became viral in April 2019 and was described as the first picture of a black hole. The most interesting part of this picture is that the region in the center of the ring from which we do not receive any radio waves was actually the evidence for the black hole. Now, seeing such a picture, one naturally thinks of the fundamental theoretical work on black holes, which was recognized in this year's Nobel Prize award to Roger Penrose. But I'd like to just list the different kinds of physics which went into making this picture. You had radio telescopes which already existed and were commandeered for this experiment, operating at a wavelength of a few millimeters. And they were already set up on high mountains to reduce atmospheric absorption all over the world. The purpose was to study molecules in space. These telescopes are very difficult to build mechanically because they extend to tens of meters in size, but the parabolic surface has to be accurate to less than 100 microns. I had some first-hand experience of this because one such telescope was built at the Raman Research Institute in the 1980s. And naturally, the electronics at this short wavelength of 2.6 millimeters or a frequency of 115 gigahertz had to be undertaken, and it's extremely challenging. Perhaps more people should be aware that in the 1890s, J.C. Bose built transmitters, receivers, and other devices operating at 60 gigahertz as early as 1980. And it took nearly 100 years after that for such high frequencies to come into wider use. In any case, to detect these very weak astronomical signals, very low noise detectors are needed. So each of these telescopes had a cryogenically cooled superconducting junction at its focus. The data from each telescope comes in at an enormous rate of 16 gigabytes per second or more, and it's recorded on devices which use the magnetic properties of materials. The exact time of arrival of the signal at each telescope has also to be recorded to an accuracy of a small fraction of a nanosecond. And this is made possible by the GPS, the Global Positioning System, which involves both space technology, orbits, communication, and so on, and the physics of cesium clocks, atomic frequency standards and time standards, which are based on magnetic resonance. And finally, of course, signals have to be processed and combined to produce the final image using supercomputers and advanced algorithms. So you will see, just to make this one picture, a very large number of people had to pool their skills in diverse areas of physics. The first paper had 347 authors, so that's why you will not see it winning a Nobel Prize, but it has already won the Fundamental Physics Breakthrough Prize of $3 million. So each author gets about $8,000. I'm happy to say that 4 of those authors were earlier my colleagues at the Raman Research Institute. You will have noticed that many of these areas which I mentioned in the context of this experiment are actually represented in this department. And interestingly, microwave spectroscopy had a lab here even in my time. And the broader point I would like to make is that you pursue whatever specialized problem your career leads you to, which will inevitably have connections with other topics. And if you're curious, you will get to learn something about these as well. Don't worry if these topics are labeled as chemistry or engineering. Your training as a physicist will help you make sense of them. Just don't say that too loudly to the chemists and engineers. I was fortunate to have this kind of wide exposure, both in the Raman Research Institute and at the National Center for Radio Astrophysics in Pune, while pursuing my own research interests, which were centered around optics. But I have to say, the most outstanding example of this broad physics culture was in this department. The foundation for all the optics that I have ever done, including in radio astronomy, was laid in the course on electromagnetic theory taught by Professor R. Srinivasan. It was he who addressed the batch of graduate students last year, graduating students, on the occasion of receiving their degrees in a similar gathering. He's an excellent example, combining specialized skills with remarkable breadth. His career spans theory, computation, experiment in areas as different as low temperature physics, condensed matter, laser cooling of atoms, instrumentation for synchrotron radiation, and perhaps many more. As if this was not enough, after retiring to settle in Mysore, he continues to devise innovative experiments for undergraduates, working in his own home in a small lab. And he has held 100 workshops on experimental physics for teachers in all corners of our country. I sometimes wonder, personally, whether I should be taking up something new because I'm in my 70s. And then it is humbling and inspiring to see my own teacher at this department, 17 years my senior, continue to be active in physics. I would now like to comment on the notion of what is fundamental in physics. When one is young, when you hear about areas like quantum gravity or theoretical cosmology, they seem very fundamental and very attractive. Physics either at 10 raised to minus 31 meters or 10 raised to plus 26 meters. These are fashionable even today. They're also very difficult. But let's not forget that there's a lot of physics to be understood and done in between these two extreme scales. In fact, a very great physicist, Philip Anderson, who passed away recently, kept driving home the point that physics at a given scale is connected to what happens at a few immediately smaller scales. For example, molecular biology rests on biochemistry, which rests on quantum mechanics of atoms and molecules. But molecular biology would be completely unaffected by any new discovery at a far smaller scale, say at the Large Hadron Collider or in string theory. And that does not make biological molecules less interesting or important. In fact, right now, molecular biology is what we look to produce a COVID vaccine and effective COVID tests. Now, you may well wonder how this applies to physics. Well, I would say the subject of energy is definitely just as important. 50 years ago, it was all about nuclear fission and fusion, which meant you had to understand the physics of atomic nuclei and reactions and plasma physics. But today there is enormous research devoted to sustainable alternatives. This is not just about collecting solar energy or extracting energy from wind. It's also about storing that energy in a useful form, a form that is convenient, portable, could be batteries, molten salts, supercapacitors, splitting water into hydrogen and oxygen. The problems posed in all these areas are every bit as challenging as those in nuclear physics or plasma physics, and they are being intensively explored today. Many opportunities will open up in these and related areas. You might call them applied or mission-oriented physics, and I saw some of this at first hand in NAL. It doesn't mean that all of us have to do it, but if you find you're doing it, there is absolutely no need to feel let down or inferior because you're not doing something fundamental. I think the best choice of area to work is one which utilizes your strengths, gives you opportunities for learning, to build on those strengths, and gives you the satisfaction which comes from solving problems. And if those problems are useful to society, all the better. I now would like to say something about the paths in our country after a physics degree. With a small warning that this is just my personal assessment. I'm not making a distinction between the MSc, the BTech Engineering Physics, and the BSMS. They have a lot in common. And even the PhD is just one stage further along that road. So looking at my own MSc batch, many went for a PhD, a few went abroad. Actually, a larger number stayed on in India. And the post-PhD paths were varied. I personally continued in basic research institutions like the Raman Institute or the National Center for Radio Astrophysics, but others went to universities or to the Oil and Natural Gas Commission, the Space Research Organization, Department of Atomic Energy, or even the Meteorological Department. And many of them did very well there. And over the years, I have seen later batches from this department are continuing this tradition So the department continues to contribute to the national research and teaching scene. If anything, it's become stronger over the years. And I think this is, as it should be, this is very appropriate. That's why the IITs were set up. Now, please don't think that I'm trying to be idealistic or nationalistic. The reasoning is very simple. I would call it commerce and accountancy. You simply have to ask yourself, who paid for all this? And you have to ask, what did those people get in return? And any honest calculation will convince you that the fees alone do not even cover the cost of running an IIT, let alone give a return on the capital invested by the nation. I have to admit that I was completely subsidized in my studies here and later. And a subsidy from the government is just another name for a subsidy from the people of our country. These are not just the taxpayers. The subsidy comes even from the poorest people who, after all, pay GST on so many of their essentials. Anyway, let me conclude by congratulating all of you on choosing physics in the first place. It has something to offer everyone, a lot to offer society as a whole. And like electrons in quantum mechanics, you will explore many paths as a group or even individually. What I would wish for you is the same as what I think I and many others feel looking back on our own careers. The work can be hard and routine at times, but underlying all of this, all of what we do, is a beautiful structure of ideas, facts, and techniques built over centuries, which we call physics, which one can explore, understand, enjoy, and have the privilege of being paid for it. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Chief Guest, for the inspiring address. Graduates, as we are not in a position to distribute the degrees in person, I request the Chief Guest to distribute the degrees and awards virtually. Prizes and awards. Professor A. L. Laskar Endowment Prize to the best PhD thesis in physics. Joint winners are Mr. Pradeep Laha and Mr. Pranab Parimal Biswas. Mrs. Abhayambal and Mr. Natarajan Award to the best thesis in PhD Energy Physics, Ms. Ajay Priya. Sri Jandyala Lakshmikantam and Srimati Sita Lakshmi Prize to the student with second best academic record in MSc Physics, Mr. Anirban Chakrabarti. Mr. Jandyala Lakshmikantam and Srimati Sita Lakshmi Prize to the student with second best academic record in BTech Engineering Physics, Ms. Nigarika Gunturu. Congratulations to all the prize winners. Joint degree program, IIT Madras, National University of Singapore, MTech and PhD, Mohammad Juwaid. Joint degree program between IIT Madras and NUS Singapore, PhD, Dilip Kotilil. Dual degree PhD, MS plus PhD, Sachin Krishnan. Buddhamuru Akshay Kumar. Dual degree, MSc plus PhD, Subhyan Bhattacharya. Doctor of Philosophy, PhD, Soni Varghese, Lakshman Dal, Ramachandra Dal, Imon Kalyan, Kartika C, Pradeep Laha, Vasumati R, Joydeep Singha, Midun Lal PV, Pranab Parimal Biswas, Subish John, Anu B, Mayarani M, Mohammad Mahbul Islam, Reshmi PK, Karapatti M Sheshadri, Sai Smriti Samantare, Subhajit Nandi, Ajay Priya. Master of Technology, MTech, Abhishek Uke, Saheli Bera, Swarnindu Banerjee, Tiwari Pradeep Kedar, Jaikishun Chaurasia, Master of Science, MSc. Arun Dev Sarkar, Saptarishi Rai Chaudhary, Abhishek Chatraj, Adarsh Kumar, Anand Rastogi, Anirban Chakrabarti, Balaram Saini, Bharti Divakar, Bhaskar De, Bhupen Dilip Dabolkar, Chandra Prabha, Chagan Bati, Dibankar Burman, Goldie Ahuja, Gaurav Paul, Kalpana Kokar, Kumar Kush Rana, Lalit Singh Bandari, Mainek Das, Maliram Sharma, Mayur Prakash Deshmukh, Mohammad Ali, Mudi Madugula Ranjit Kumar, Nitish Kumari, Pragati Patel, Rohan S, Shakil Khan, Samim Akhtar, Sanmim Debor Sintem, Sivaprasad V, Samarlang Riantong Tyong, Surojit Samir Bhattacharya, Suvarnil Ghosh, Swarna Barui, Tanmay Sanjay Thakur, Tapesh Gautam, Uma Shankar Jaina, Unde Jayesh Pramod, Varsha, Yadav Shivam Uma Shankar, dual degree BS and MS, Rakesh B. Kasangeri, Ambud Jain, JK Shashwat, Rachna S. Yajur, Saran V, Uduta Radhakrishna Murthy, dual degree IDDD, BTech in Engineering Physics and interdisciplinary MTech in Robotics, M. Dinesh Kumar, Ijaz Ahmad M, Bachelor of Technology BTech, Ashwin Natraj A, E. Gopikanna, Mano Deepak L, Smritan Ravichandran, Srijit S, Sriram Gopalakrishnan, Venkata Akshaya Udumula, Venkata Shashwat Udumula, Vinay Paliwal, Ajay S. Dinesh, Ashwant Satyamurthy, Vaibhav Tripathi, Bushare Yash Eknath, Chari Rajas Premanand, Harishankar Pradeep, Islavat Sairam Nayak, KB Vivek, Kampa Sujit Kumar, Niharika Gunturu, Ashwin Patel, Pradeep PS, Rahil Shahjahan, S. Karthik, Sai Ratna Sajja, Samay HN, Sudhir Naidu, Dwaropure D. Once again, let me congratulate all the graduates, students, and wish you all success, prosperity, and good luck in all your endeavors.
Thank you, Professor Setupati. Finally, the program is approaching towards an end, but before that, we must thanks to all who have contributed to this ceremony. It is my proud privilege to present the vote of thanks on this august occasion. We sincerely thank our chief guest, Professor Rajaram Nityananda, for his valuable time to join us in our celebrations. Sir, your convocation address was insightful and one that inspired hope, optimism, and pride in all of us. We also take this opportunity to extend our most sincere thanks to our director and all the deans holding different offices at IIT Madras for their continuous support. We must thanks to our head of the department, Professor K. Setupati, for his thoughtful ideas and perfect logistic support in the organization of this event. Well, ladies and gentlemen, an event like this cannot happen overnight. It requires a great deal of planning. We have been fortunate enough to be backed by a team of very motivated, technically skilled, and dedicated colleagues. We thank all faculty members of our department and technical and administrative staff for their insightful suggestions and support. We thank Mr. Kannan Krishnamurthy, Executive Producer and Senior Consultant, CCE IIT Madras, staff members of Academic Section and staff members of Physics Department. We remain very much obliged to all members of this team. We thank all the graduates for being a part of this event and helping us out in different ways. A special thanks to our staff, Mr. Varun, Mr. Suresh and Mr. Durai Murugan E, for their support in making this convocation a successful event. With this vote of thanks, this department degree distribution program 2020 is declared to be concluded. Thank you.